The signal echoed across the void of space. It was weak, desperate, and fading. The Luran communication specialist, Vrita, adjusted her translucent appendages over the ancient beacon controls. Her large, round eyes reflected the emergency lights that flooded the small command center. Ambassador Krell, the message is broadcasting, but I cannot guarantee any civilizations will receive it, she said, her voice trembling. Ambassador Krell moved closer to the console. He was the last surviving diplomat of the Luran Confederation, a peaceful alliance that had never known war until the Voidclaw Empire arrived 3 cycles ago. His blue-tinted skin had grown pale from weeks without proper nutrition. It must reach someone, he said quietly. We have no other hope. Outside the hidden bunker, the sounds of destruction carried through even the reinforced walls. The Voidclaw ships had found their 6th and final colony world. The pattern was always the same. They would strip the planet of resources, kill anyone who resisted, and enslave those who surrendered. Krell looked at the small group of survivors huddled in the command center. Only 27 Lurians remained from a colony of thousands. They were not built for conflict. Evolution on their low-gravity, peaceful world had given them delicate bodies and minds, focused on art, science, and cooperation. The message is simple enough for any translation system to understand, Greta said, showing him the repeating pattern on her screen. It contained basic mathematical sequences followed by the same plea. Help us. They're killing everyone. The ancient beacon had been built eons ago by their ancestors, designed to reach parts of the galaxy that modern Luran ships never visited. Its power requirements were enormous, and they had diverted everything they had left to make it work. Ambassador, the beacon's signal is directed toward uncharted regions. The Galactic Assembly never mapped those areas, said Talon, their chief scientist. Krell nodded slowly. That was intentional. The Assembly worlds have already fallen or gone silent. Our only hope lies in reaching someone unknown to us, someone the Voidclaw haven't planned for. What none of them knew was that the signal was traveling toward a region marked in ancient star charts with a simple warning. Caution, death zone. The few explorers who had ventured there never returned, or came back with stories of a planet so harsh that its native life had evolved to withstand conditions fatal to most galactic species. The signal traveled for days, crossing vast distances, growing weaker but never stopping. On the bridge of the Earth Defense Fleet vessel Horizon, Lieutenant Greg Monroe looked up from his communications station with a confused expression. Captain Wright, you might want to see this. Captain Allison Wright was reviewing security protocols for their patrol of the outer solar system. Humanity had expanded to Mars and the moons of Jupiter, but had yet to venture beyond their home system. At 42, she was considered young for her command, but had earned it through skill and determination. What is it, Lieutenant? She asked, moving to his station. A repeating signal, Captain. It's not one of ours. Greg's hands moved over his console, isolating the transmission from the background noise of space. It has a clear mathematical pattern followed by what appears to be a language. Allison felt her heart rate increase. Humanity had searched for signs of extraterrestrial intelligence for centuries. There had been promising leads, strange readings from distant stars, but never anything this clear. Have you confirmed it's not coming from Earth or any of our colonies? She asked. Yes, Captain. The signal originates from approximately 37 light-years away in the direction of the Epsilon Indi system, and it's definitely not human in origin. Allison took a deep breath. First contact protocol was something every captain trained for, but never expected to use. Alert Fleet Command immediately. Classification Level Alpha. And Lieutenant, she paused, meeting his eyes, not a word of this to the rest of the crew until we receive orders. As Greg sent the encrypted message to Earth, Allison looked out at the stars visible through the main viewport. Somewhere out there, someone was calling for help. And whether by chance or fate, humans, the Deathworlders unknown to the galaxy, were the ones who heard them. Fleet Admiral Frank Simmons sat at the head of the conference table in Earth Defense Headquarters on Luna Base. His weathered face showed little emotion, but the tapping of his finger against the table betrayed his excitement. Around him sat the top military and scientific minds of Earth. "Play it again," he ordered. The room filled with the strange mathematical sequence, followed by sounds no human throat could make. The translation software had worked for hours on the simple message, "Help us. They're killing everyone." Dr. Samantha Cole, head of xenobiology, leaned forward. "The signal is genuine. The mathematical sequence establishes basic communication principles used in all known first contact scenarios. This is not a hoax." "And you're certain it's a distress call?" asked General Ryan Phillips, his bushy eyebrows furrowed. "The tone patterns indicate urgency in almost every linguistic model we theorized," said Dr. Cole. "Plus, they're killing everyone is pretty clear." Admiral Simmons nodded slowly. "Captain Wright made the right call, alerting us immediately. The question now is, how do we respond?" The debate lasted hours. Some argued for caution. Humanity had never encountered aliens before. Others pushed for immediate action if lives were at stake. In the end, Admiral Simmons made his decision. "We'll send a small fleet. The Horizon will leave 5 other vessels on a reconnaissance mission. Captain Wright has already proven her judgment is sound. They will investigate but not engage unless absolutely necessary." 2 days later, Captain Allison Wright stood on the bridge of the Horizon as her crew prepared for their mission. Lieutenant Greg Monroe had been promoted to Chief Communications Officer for his discovery of the signal. "All systems are go, Captain," reported her first officer, Commander Joe Martinez. "The Valiant, Defender, Courage, Liberty, and Freedom are in formation and awaiting your command." Allison looked around at her crew. None of them had expected to make history when they signed up for a routine patrol, but here they were, about to become the first humans to intentionally seek contact with alien life. "Send a message to all ships," she said. "We jump in 5 minutes. Standard defensive formation upon arrival. We don't know what we're flying into, so stay sharp." The jump drive technology was relatively new. It allowed ships to travel vast distances by folding space, but it had limitations. They would need to make 3 jumps to reach the signal's origin. As they prepared for the first jump, Greg spoke up from his station. "Captain, I've been analyzing the signal further. There's something unusual about it." "Unusual how?" Allison asked. "It's being broadcast on frequencies that would be considered inefficient by our standards. Almost as if." He paused, searching for words, as if their technology developed along completely different lines than ours. Commander Martinez nodded. "Makes sense. Different planets, different resources, different evolutionary paths. It also means their weapons and defenses might work differently too," said Allison quietly. "Keep that in mind, everyone." The first jump went smoothly, taking them to the edge of explored space. They took readings, adjusted their calculations, and prepared for the second jump. "Any ships in the area?" Allison asked the sensor officer. "No, Captain. We're alone out here." The second jump brought them much closer. Now their sensors detected debris, a lot of it. "Analysis?" Allison asked. Lieutenant Karen Foster frowned at her screen. "Appears to be the remains of artificial structures, Captain. I'm detecting alloys we've never seen before. Some pieces show evidence of weapons fire." A somber mood fell over the bridge. Whatever had happened here, they were too late to stop it. "Prepare for final jump," Allison ordered. "Weapons on standby. Shields at maximum." As the countdown to the last jump began, Greg reported, "Signal is much stronger now, Captain. It's coming from a small moon orbiting the 4th planet in the system we're headed to." Allison nodded, her eyes fixed on the main view screen. 3, 2, 1, jump. Space twisted around them as the 6 Earth ships made their final leap toward a desperate plea from unknown beings who had no idea that their call for help was about to be answered by a species the galaxy had labeled as Deathworlders. The 6 Earth ships emerged into a scene of destruction. The view screen on the horizon filled with images of a burning planet, its atmosphere choked with dark smoke visible even from space. Massive ships hovered above the world like predators, firing bright beams at the surface. "My God," whispered Commander Martinez. Captain Allison Wright gripped the arms of her command chair. "Tactical assessment, Lieutenant Foster." Karen Foster worked quickly at her station. 27 large vessels in orbit around the fourth planet. Their technology is unlike anything we've seen. Energy readings are off the charts. They don't appear to have detected us yet. "The planet itself?" Allison asked. Dr. Samantha Cole studied her readings with growing horror. "Atmosphere being deliberately poisoned. I'm detecting widespread fires and what appear to be bombing patterns. This is systematic destruction, Captain." "And the distress signal?" Greg Monroe pointed to a small moon orbiting farther out in the system. "Coming from there. It's still active, but weaker now." Allison made her decision. "We need more information before we engage those ships. Set course for the moon. Full stealth mode. Let's find out who we're dealing with first." The Earth fleet moved quietly through the system, using the natural radiation of nearby gas giants to mask their approach. When they reached the small rocky moon, their sensors detected a faint energy signature from beneath its surface. "Some kind of bunker," said Karen. "Heavily shielded. That's why those ships haven't found it yet." "Life signs?" asked Allison. "Yes," Karen replied, her voice filled with wonder. "Definitely not human. Their biological readings are completely different from anything in our databases." Allison stood up. "I'm taking a team down. Commander Martinez, you have the bridge. If those ships make a move toward us, get everyone out of here and back to Earth with what we've learned." "With all due respect, Captain," Martinez argued, "protocol says you should stay on the ship." Allison shook her head. "This isn't in any protocol, Joe. We're making history here. I need to see this with my own eyes." 20 minutes later, Allison led a small team including Dr. Cole, Greg Monroe, and 4 security officers to the surface of the moon. They wore sealed environmental suits, unsure if they could breathe the atmosphere inside the alien bunker. They found the entrance hidden under rock formations. Greg analyzed the alien control panel and managed to transmit the same mathematical sequence from the distress signal. To everyone's surprise, the doors slid open. Inside, dimly lit corridors led deeper into the moon. The team moved cautiously, weapons ready but not raised. They followed the strengthening signal until they reached a large circular chamber. What they saw made them stop in their tracks. 24 beings huddled together in the center of the room. They had blue-tinted skin, large round eyes, and delicate limbs that looked almost like glass. One of them, wearing ornate garments, stepped forward tentatively. "My God, they're beautiful," whispered Dr. Cole. Allison removed her helmet after Dr. Cole confirmed the air was breathable. She stepped forward to match the alien's gesture. "I'm Captain Allison Wright of Earth," she said, knowing the aliens couldn't understand her yet. The alien placed a hand on its chest. "Krell," it said clearly. Greg worked frantically on his translator device, feeding in the new vocal patterns. After a moment, it produced rough translations. "They're saying they are the Lurians," Greg explained. "This is Ambassador Krell of the Lurian Confederation. They've been hiding here since their colonies were attacked." Krell spoke again, longer this time. Greg listened to his device, then looked up with a grim expression. "The attackers are called the Voidclaw Empire. They've destroyed 6 Lurian worlds already. The Lurians have no weapons, no defenses. Their civilization was built on art and science, not war." Allison looked at the frightened aliens, then at her team. Humans had fought each other for centuries. They understood war all too well. "Ask them about the Voidclaw," she said. "Why are they doing this?" When Greg translated the response, a chill ran down everyone's spine. The Voidclaw believe in genetic superiority. They conquer worlds they consider weak first. The Lurians were targeted because they couldn't fight back. The Voidclaw planned to work their way up, species by species, eliminating all they deem unworthy of existence in the galaxy. Allison's expression hardened. "Tell Ambassador Krell that Earth has heard their call, and we will help." Captain Allison Wright and her team had barely finished speaking with Ambassador Krell when alarms began to sound throughout the Lurian bunker. A young Lurian rushed into the chamber, speaking rapidly to Krell. Greg's translator struggled to keep up. "Captain, they're saying Voidclaw scout ships have changed course. They're heading toward this moon." "They must have detected our landing craft," said Karen. "Our stealth systems aren't perfect." Allison tapped her communicator. "Right to horizon. Status report." Commander Martinez's voice came through clearly. "3 enemy vessels approaching the moon, Captain. They're small, probably scouts. Our ships remain undetected for now." Allison looked at the frightened Lurians. They had survived this long by hiding, but that option was gone now. "Martinez, I want you to hold position, but be ready to engage on my command. We need to see what we're up against." Dr. Cole stepped closer to Allison. "Captain, the Lurians can't survive a fight. They evolved on a low-gravity world with minimal environmental threats. Their bodies are extremely fragile compared to ours." Allison nodded. "Then we protect them. Greg, tell Ambassador Krell we're taking them to our ship." As Greg translated, Commander Martinez's voice came through again, more urgent this time. "Captain, those scout ships are fast. Estimated time to your position, 12 minutes. "Understood. Right out." She turned to her security team. "Johnson, Weber, help the Lurians to the landing craft. Cole, Monroe with me. I want to see these Voidclaw up close." The Lurians moved slowly, their delicate bodies not built for speed. Ambassador Krell insisted on showing Allison something before they left. He led her to a small control room with screens showing the Voidclaw ships. "These are the enemy," Greg translated as Krell spoke. "They believe themselves superior because they evolved on a harsh world. They see our peaceful nature as weakness." Allison studied the images. The Voidclaw ships were dark and angular, bristling with weapons. A close-up image showed one of the aliens, tall, with gray armored skin, 4 eyes, and powerful limbs. "They look built for combat," she observed. "They were," Greg translated Krell's response. "Their world had high gravity, extreme temperatures, and predators. They survived by becoming predators themselves." Allison smiled grimly. "Earth had all those things too. We just made different choices." As they hurried toward the landing craft, Karen's voice came through on the communicator. "Captain, I'm picking up unusual readings from those scout ships. They're scanning us with some kind of targeted frequency." Before Allison could respond, a blinding light flooded the corridor. When it faded, 3 Voidclaw soldiers stood before them, weapons raised. They had somehow transported directly into the bunker. The Lurians froze in terror. Dr. Cole moved to protect them, but Allison stepped forward first. The lead Voidclaw spoke, its voice deep and grating. Greg's translator converted its words. "Weak Lurians, you hide like prey. Who are these new creatures?" Allison met its 4 eyes without flinching. "I am Captain Allison Wright of Earth. We received the Lurian distress call." The Voidclaw made a sound that might have been laughter. "More weak species to conquer. You appear soft, like the Lurians." Without warning, it fired its weapon at Allison. The energy blast hit her squarely in the chest, knocking her backward. The Lurians cried out in horror. But Allison stood up, her uniform scorched but her body unharmed. Earth's military suits included advanced protective layers developed through centuries of human warfare. The Voidclaw soldiers stepped back, clearly surprised. "Our world has 16 times the gravity of the Lurian homeworld," Allison said calmly. "Our atmosphere has higher pressure, more radiation, and deadlier predators than you can imagine. We call Earth a garden world. Others might call it a death world." She drew her sidearm in one fluid motion and fired. The lead Voidclaw fell, its armor pierced by technology it had never encountered. The other two Voidclaw raised their weapons, but Johnson and Weber were faster. Both aliens dropped to the ground. Allison tapped her communicator. Martinez, the Voidclaw, just got their first look at humans. They weren't impressed. Prepare for combat. We're coming home, and we're bringing friends. The return to the horizon was tense but successful. As the landing craft docked, Lieutenant Karen Foster's voice crackled over the communication system. Captain, the Voidclaw scout ships are holding position near the moon. They appear to be sending a signal to the larger fleet. Allison helped Ambassador Krell from the landing craft. The Lurian moved carefully in the higher gravity of the human ship. They're reporting what they found, she said, and what they lost. 3 soldiers who didn't come back. Commander Martinez met them in the docking bay. His eyes widened at the sight of the Lurians. Medical team is standing by, Captain. Dr. Cole sent ahead their biological requirements. Good work, Allison said. Get us some distance from the moon. I don't want to be an easy target when their friends arrive. In the ship's conference room, Allison met with her senior officers and Ambassador Krell. The translator had been improved, making communication easier. The Voidclaw will return with greater numbers, Krell said, his large eyes reflecting the room's lights. This is their pattern. First scouts, then destroyers. Major Lisa Duncan, the fleet's tactical officer, studied the sensor readings of the Voidclaw ships. Their technology is advanced, but their tactics are straightforward. They rely on overwhelming force rather than strategy. Because it's always worked for them, Allison said. Until now. Lisa nodded. We have advantages they don't know about. Our ships can withstand greater G-forces. Our weapons use different principles. And we've been fighting each other for centuries, refining tactics they've never seen. Allison turned to Greg. Contact Earth. We need reinforcements. While they waited for Earth's response, Allison ordered the fleet to capture one of the remaining scout ships. The Valiant and the Courage executed a pincer maneuver, disabling a Voidclaw vessel without destroying it. The captured ship yielded valuable information. Dr. Cole and the science team discovered a critical weakness. Their life support systems are designed for very specific conditions, she explained. They can't handle sudden pressure changes. It's never been an issue for them, because most species they encounter evolved in stable environments like they did. Unlike Earth with its hurricanes, earthquakes, and volatile weather, Allison noted. Exactly. We're adapted to rapid environmental changes. They're not. The communication from Earth arrived 12 hours later. Admiral Simmons appeared on the main screen, his face grave. The Joint Chiefs have reviewed your report, Captain Wright. We are authorizing full military intervention. A rush of murmurs filled the room. Allison remained focused. What resources can we expect, Admiral? 3 battle groups are being prepared. They'll arrive within 72 hours. He looked directly at Ambassador Krell. We've voted unanimously. Earth will defend the Lurian people and any other species threatened by the Voidclaw Empire. Krell's translator conveyed his response. We are grateful, but why would you risk your people for ours? The Galactic Assembly abandoned us because the cost was too high. Admiral Simmons smiled slightly. Because that's what humans do, Ambassador. We protect those who cannot protect themselves. After the communication ended, Major Duncan approached Allison. Captain, sensor readings show the main Voidclaw fleet is moving. 20 warships are on an intercept course. They'll reach us before Earth's reinforcements arrive. Allison walked to the viewport, looking out at the stars. In the distance, she could see the burning Lurian world, still under attack by Voidclaw ships. We need somewhere defensible to make our stand, she said. Ambassador Krell joined her at the viewport. There is a place. The Lurians built a hidden station in the asteroid belt of this system. It was meant to be our last refuge. Does it have defenses? Allison asked. No, my people never developed weapons, but it has strong shields and can support many beings. Allison turned to her officers. That's where we make our stand. We'll modify the station, add our own defenses. The Voidclaw expect to find frightened refugees. Instead, they'll find Earth's finest ready for battle. Commander Martinez nodded. What should we call this operation, Captain? Allison looked at Ambassador Krell, the last diplomat of a nearly extinct species who had sent a desperate plea into the void. Operation Answered Call, she said firmly. Because that's what we did. And that's what we'll continue to do. The Luran station had been named Krell's Hope by the human crew. Hidden within a dense asteroid field, its original sleek design now bristled with hastily installed weapons systems from the Earth ships. Inside the command center, Captain Allison Wright studied the tactical display. The 6 Earth vessels were positioned strategically around the station. The remaining Lurians had been moved to the station's core section, the safest area if the outer defenses failed. Voidclaw fleet will arrive in 30 minutes, reported Lieutenant Karen Foster. 23 ships total. Their main battleship is twice the size of the Horizon. Commander Martinez frowned. Almost 4-to-1 odds. We've seen worse, Allison said, though in truth, they hadn't. This would be humanity's first interstellar war. Engineer Jeff Blackwood approached with a tablet. Captain, we've finished modifying the station's shield generators. We're using the pressure differential technique we discussed. Allison nodded. Good work. How effective will it be? Based on what we learned from the captured scout ship, their life support systems can't handle rapid pressure changes. If we can get them to board the station, we can trigger atmospheric shifts that would incapacitate them without harming humans or Lurians. Ambassador Krell, who had insisted on staying with the humans instead of hiding with his people, listened intently. Your species evolved to handle such changes. Allison smiled. Earth has hurricanes, tornadoes, and rapid weather shifts. Our bodies adapted to handle sudden pressure changes. It's nothing special to us, but apparently it's rare in the galaxy. Major Lisa Duncan called from her station. Captain, I've completed the combat simulations. Our best chance is to use the asteroid field to break up their formation. Their ships are powerful, but not as maneuverable as ours in tight spaces. We'll need to get them to chase us, Allison said. They need to believe we're vulnerable. The plan was set. The Horizon would appear to flee, leading the Voidclaw ships into the dense asteroid field, where the other Earth vessels waited in ambush. As the enemy fleet appeared on long-range sensors, Allison addressed the combined crews of all 6 ships. Today we face an enemy that believes might makes right. The Voidclaw think that because they evolved on a harsh world, they deserve to rule. But they've never met humans before. They don't know that Earth makes their homeworld look like a vacation spot. She paused, looking at the faces of her crew and the Lurians who had joined them. We're not fighting because we're stronger. We're fighting because we choose to protect those who can't protect themselves. That's what makes humans different. Not our strength, but how we use it. The Voidclaw fleet emerged from light speed, their massive ships immediately taking up attack formations. The main battleship, named Inevitable Conquest, according to the translator, broadcast a message to the station. Surrender the Lurian vermin and your ships. Your species is unknown to us, but clearly inferior. Submit now, and we may allow you to serve the Empire. Allison's response was brief. This is Captain Allison Wright of Earth. We don't surrender to bullies. The battle began. The Horizon broke away from the station, appearing to flee. As expected, 8 Voidclaw destroyers gave chase, following the Earth ship into the asteroid field. What they didn't expect was the courage and the valiant hidden behind 2 massive asteroids. As the Voidclaw ships passed, the Earth vessels opened fire from behind, targeting the weak points identified from the captured scout ship. 2 enemy destroyers exploded immediately. The others turned to engage, but found themselves fighting in tight quarters where their size became a disadvantage. Meanwhile, the Defender and the Liberty executed a daring attack on the Voidclaw flagship, using Earth's more advanced targeting systems to disable its main weapons. Aboard the Horizon, Allison gripped her command chair as the ship shook from a near miss. "Pattern Omega," she ordered. "Take us through the Kessler Run." The Horizon dove into the densest part of the asteroid field, a twisting path that required split-second reactions to navigate. The pursuing Voidclaw ships couldn't match the human pilot's reflexes. 2 more enemy vessels crashed into asteroids, while a third was crippled by debris. For the first time in their history, the Voidclaw were losing a battle, and they didn't understand why. The battle raged for hours. The command center of Krell's Hope Station was filled with tension as reports came in from the 6 Earth ships. The humans fought with a creativity that confused the Voidclaw, using the asteroid field in ways the enemy never expected. "Freedom reports 2 more Voidclaw ships disabled," announced Lieutenant Greg Monroe. "They're targeting the engines rather than trying to destroy them completely." Ambassador Krell watched in amazement. "Your ships are so much smaller, yet they fight with such effectiveness." "Size isn't everything," said Major Lisa Duncan. "Maneuverability matters more in tight spaces. The Voidclaw built their ships for overwhelming force, not precision." A massive explosion lit up the view screen. The Horizon had led 3 enemy destroyers into a trap. The Liberty and the Defender had planted explosive devices on key asteroids, creating a chain reaction that caught the Voidclaw ships in a storm of debris. "Horizon reports minor damage, but all systems functional," said Greg. "Captain Wright requests permission to implement Phase 2. Major Duncan nodded. "Tell her she's clear to proceed." Phase 2 was even more daring. The Earth ships began herding the remaining Voidclaw vessels toward the station itself. The enemy, believing they were pushing the humans back, didn't realize they were being manipulated. On the bridge of the Voidclaw flagship, Supreme Commander Vex was furious. Half his fleet was either destroyed or disabled, yet these strange new aliens continued to fight. "They are nothing," he roared to his officers. "Their planet must be soft and weak to produce such beings. Board their station. Kill them all." 5 Voidclaw ships broke away from the main battle and headed straight for Krell's Hope. They attached to the outer docking ports, cutting through the airlocks. Hundreds of Voidclaw soldiers poured into the station. But this was exactly what the humans had planned. Engineer Jeff Blackwood stood at the environmental controls with Dr. Samantha Cole. "They're in sections 3 through 7, he reported. "All Lurians and humans are clear of those areas." "Do it," Dr. Cole ordered. Jeff activated the modified systems. Throughout the sections where the Voidclaw soldiers had entered, the atmosphere rapidly changed. Pressure increased, then decreased in seconds. Temperature shifted wildly, and humidity levels fluctuated dramatically. On the security monitors, they watched as the Voidclaw soldiers stumbled, disoriented by conditions that would be normal during an Earth storm, but were devastating to their biology. Within minutes, hundreds of enemy troops collapsed, unable to function in the changing environment. Meanwhile, the space battle had turned decisively. The Voidclaw flagship, the inevitable conquest, found itself surrounded by 4 Earth vessels. Its massive weapons couldn't target the smaller, faster ships effectively. "Horizon to Krell's Hope," came Captain Wright's voice. "We have the flagship isolated. They're sending a transmission." In the command center, the view screen showed Supreme Commander Vex for the first time. His 4 eyes blazed with anger, his armored skin reflecting the emergency lights of his bridge. "What are you?" he demanded. "No species has ever defeated a Voidclaw fleet." Major Duncan stood tall. "We are humans, from Earth, a planet you would call a death world. Your soldiers are incapacitated, not killed. Surrender now, and we will show mercy." Vex laughed, a harsh sound. "The Voidclaw do not surrender. We will return with our full might. This battle is meaningless." As he spoke, new signals appeared on the long-range sensors. For a moment, everyone in the command center feared it was Voidclaw reinforcements. It wasn't. The first wave of ships from Earth had arrived early, having pushed their engines to the limit after receiving the distress call from the Horizon. 20 advanced battleships, fresh from Earth's shipyards, dropped out of light speed behind the remnants of the Voidclaw fleet. Admiral Frank Simmons' voice filled the command center. "This is Admiral Simmons of the Earth Defense Fleet. Krell's Hope, Horizon, status report." Major Duncan couldn't help smiling. "Sir, you're just in time for the cleanup. Captain Wright and her team have the Voidclaw on the run." On the view screen, Supreme Commander Vex's expression changed as he saw the new Earth fleet. For the first time in his life, he felt something unfamiliar: fear. The Battle of Krell's Hope was over. The first encounter between humans and the Voidclaw Empire had ended in a way no one in the galaxy would have predicted. The Deathworlders had arrived, and the balance of power among the stars would never be the same. 6 months after the Battle of Krell's Hope, Captain Allison Wright stood on the bridge of a new ship. The Guardian was the first vessel built specifically for the Galactic Alliance Defense Force, combining human military technology with innovations from a dozen alien species. Behind her stood Ambassador Krell, now the official representative of the Luran people to Earth. He wore a special suit that helped him move comfortably in Earth's gravity. "The ship is beautiful," he said, his translator now perfectly matching his speech patterns. "I never imagined my people would see peace again." Allison smiled. "There's still work to do. The Voidclaw have retreated to their home system, but they haven't surrendered." The months following the battle had brought rapid changes to the galaxy. News of the human victory had spread quickly. Representatives from 12 previously hidden civilizations had approached Earth's fleet, revealing that humans had been observed from afar for centuries. "Your species was considered too dangerous to contact," a diplomat from the Luran Collective had explained. "You evolved on a world that would kill most of us within minutes. Your natural abilities, your strength, your endurance, your resistance to radiation and pressure changes, they terrified us. But now, those same abilities made humans the perfect defenders against the Voidclaw threat." The new Galactic Alliance had formed with Earth as its military backbone. Humans trained mixed-species crews, teaching alien allies how to compensate for evolutionary differences through technology and teamwork. Admiral Frank Simmons entered the bridge, now wearing the new uniform of the Alliance. "Captain Wright, the ambassadors are ready for the demonstration." The Guardian moved smoothly out of Earth orbit. On the observation deck, representatives from 26 species watched as human pilots showed maneuvers that would be impossible for most galactic races. Dr. Samantha Cole, now the head of the Alliance's Xenobiology Division, explained to the observers, "Humans can withstand forces that would cause most species to lose consciousness. We don't see it as special, it's just how we evolved." In the ship's tactical center, Major Lisa Duncan trained alien officers in human battle strategies. "The Voidclaw rely on brute force," she told them. "We rely on adaptability. That's the key difference." Meanwhile, on the far side of the galaxy, the Voidclaw Empire was changing too. Supreme Commander Vex had been replaced after his defeat. The new leader, Grand Marshal Koth, had studied the humans carefully. "They are worthy opponents," he told his war council. "But they have a weakness. They care for the weak. They protect those who cannot protect themselves." He had developed a plan. A Voidclaw envoy was being sent to Earth, supposedly offering surrender terms. In reality, it carried weapons designed to assassinate the Alliance leadership. But intelligence officer Ben Hawkins had uncovered the plot. As a former spy for Earth, he had developed a network of informants across the galaxy. "It's a trap," he warned Admiral Simmons and Captain Wright. "The envoy ship is armed with biological weapons targeted at both humans and Lurians." Instead of receiving the envoy at Earth as expected, the Guardian and 5 other Alliance ships intercepted it near the former Lurian homeworld. When the Voidclaw realized their plan had failed, they attacked. But this time, the Alliance was ready. The battle was short and decisive. Afterward, Captain Wright personally led the boarding party onto the captured Voidclaw vessel. In its command center, she found documents revealing the full extent of the Voidclaw's plans, not just for conquest, but for the elimination of all species they deemed unworthy. She transmitted the evidence to all Alliance worlds. Any remaining doubt about the need to stand against the Voidclaw vanished. Back on the Guardian, Allison looked out at the stars as Ambassador Krell joined her. "We've come a long way from that distress call," she said. Krell nodded. "You answered when no one else would. You showed the galaxy that strength doesn't have to mean cruelty, that evolution on a harsh world doesn't have to make a species harsh." Allison smiled. "We're not perfect. Humans have made many mistakes throughout our history, but we're learning." The Guardian turned toward Earth, leading a fleet that now included ships from a dozen worlds. Humans were no longer feared as Deathworlders, but respected as guardians who had answered a desperate call, and in doing so, changed the galaxy forever.